Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your favorite podcast, your timely weekly podcast, NETLORE. We're doing episode 11, and it's been a couple of weeks since we did the last episode, not a big deal. So let's
it's a couple of weeks.
Let's move past that, and then let's hop right into NETLORE episode 11. I have to tell you, when Bernie was originally pitching this episode to me, I have to say, Bernie, that has got to be the worst idea I've ever heard for a podcast episode. I'm going to fucking kill you. And you really think this should be the first episode we do coming back?
The thing is, you tell me that a lot for some of these ideas.
I have to say, it's one of those boy cried wolf situations where I say that every time, but this time I really meant it. But you know what? I decided to acquiesce. I think it could be a good podcast. I've changed my tune. I'm excited to see what Bernie's got cooked up for us over here.
Today, we're going to be talking about Soy Boys, but not actually Soy Boys, because who would ever want to watch anything about what the term actually means, who would ever want to watch that? We're going to talk about where the word came from.
Right. Etymology, baby. You love learning about words, and this is some real-ass NETLORE. By the way, I gotta say, the Soy Boys episode, this is dedicated to you, the fans. This one's for you guys.
So let me explain how I got this stupid-ass idea, okay? It started off with me listening to a song by Katy Perry called You're So Gay.
Wow. I think we need to cancel this bitch. Am I right, fellas? Am I right, my fellow allies?
I think she is canceled. I don't actually know why. I don't remember, but she did something.
Look, it was a different time back then. What was the year the song came out again?
This is 2007.
2007. Look, we all made YouTube videos where we said some unfortunate words back in 2007. I don't think you can hold that against anyone. I don't think that's reasonable.
That's true. Look, this song is actually, it's pretty funny. Conceptually, it's really funny. I remember the first time I heard this, I was just like, what the hell? It's because it's on One of the Boys. It's a pretty popular album. And this song, I guess, is pretty popular back in the day. And the beat is kind of weird, I feel like, for a Katy Perry song. But look, that's neither here nor there. I don't need to justify why I listened to this song, okay? I was just listening.
Hey, thanks, Fantano. Can you give us a number rating?
I was just listening to the song and watching the music video, okay, when something happened in the video that completely caught me off guard. Also, for context, this was I just woke up. I was really groggy and foggy, and I just was watching this on my phone. And when I saw this, I was actually so shocked that this is why I started looking at all this. You're So Gay is a song by Katy Perry about a straight man who acts so unmasculine that she thinks that he should be gay, but he isn't gay. And in the video, in one scene, you could see the license plate says #1 Soy Boy.
You're you walk around like you're oh so debonair.
It's a great license plate. I'm sure someone out there has a license plate for real, and they're loving it. Right. That gets you thinking, what is the first use? Because obviously this predates the popular usage of it.
This is 2008.
I forget the fucking Google chart exact trend on when that popped off.
It kind of immediately made me think did Katy Perry invent this term? How long have people been using this as an insult?
Right. Should she be getting paid royalties every time someone has used that word?
And so I look on Know Your Meme and
Of course, as you do.
Yeah, as I do, and some real Adam fucking ruins everything shit, right? To be actually, but they said that the earliest archived use of the term was in 2017, and even their origin of it only goes up until 2009, which, again, this video predates.
Look, you just can't expect me to believe nobody ever noticed those two words rhymed before, never tried putting them together. Clearly, that would have happened at some point.
Okay. Well, to be honest, that is going to be a continuous question throughout the video of kind of how original is this insult that you need to hear it from someone else to use it, right? I don't know.
Right. There could be cases of parallel thought going on here where different geniuses around the world were somehow able to come up with this term.
They all came up with, their genius minds, they came up with Soy Boy, which it is kind of catchy as an insult. But look, it confused me. I was just look, even if you don't know where it came from, it's people weren't really talking about this. There were a handful of tweets talking about it, and there was a music discussion thread where people were talking about is this the Mandela effect? Why is there a Soy Boy insult in this, right? From 2008. And I looked on Wikipedia, and even Wikipedia, this is again another fucking Adam Conover moment, but even Wikipedia doesn't really talk about the etymology of it or where it came from or the cultural origins. It's just about if it's true or not. Well, I guess it does talk about the cultural origins, but like, the pseudoscience that I guess is paired with it.
It's crazy the kind of shit that'll get a Wikipedia page. I'm positive I've gone on this exact same rant before in a different episode, but holy cow.
So, what is a soy boy?
Thank you. I'm so happy that this slide exists.
Soy boy, do you like the Jesse Cox like Soylent like truck right here? This is like a classic image. Like I remember seeing this right when people started using this term, and I feel bad because I feel like Jesse Cox is a nice guy, but this is a really funny image.
Hey, if it comes up on Google, then that's just the way the road, buddy.
It is also one of the most like I feel like associated images that just shows up. Soy boy is a pejorative to describe men lacking in masculine characteristics. The term is based on the high amounts of phytoestrogens in soy products, which is kind of that's where kind of the debunks of it come from. And then there are claims soy products feminize men who consume them, and that is what it means.
By the way, I just have to give a shout out to anyone out there listening who's never heard the term soy boy before, and I apologize for
That's true.
Introducing this to your vernacular.
Maybe we're taking for granted how popular is this term though.
Not everyone is a terminally online freak.
But I don't know. It's like politicians have referenced it though.
This one breached into the mainstream. Okay, I agree with you. I'm not pretending like you have to be terminally online freak to have heard this term before. I'm just saying it's theoretically possible. That's why I was just giving them a special shout out.
They deserve it. Yeah. If you don't,
maybe they're living under a rock. Maybe the only podcast I listen to is NETLORE, and they don't even use the internet.
So, the earliest known use. So this is kind of where it goes back to your parallel thought kind of thing, where it's like the earliest known use of it is in 1979. It's very plausible. It's actually very likely that people had said it before, but the earliest known use was by Northern Soy, who filed their trademark in 1979. They actually used it for their brand very sincerely. So they used it to sell tofu, ravioli, like vegan burgers, not dogs.
Right.
All these kinds of
This is labeled on the chart pre-irony.
Yep. Exactly. So they actually, and they still exist. They owned soyboy.com, so they won.
Yeah, imagine how much they could have fucking flipped that for to some right-wing grifter after in the heyday, man. That was a fumble on their part. I don't know. We'll have to see their yearly revenue versus how much that would have been.
Well, I mean, they've been around for like, how long? Like 50 years? I'm sure they're doing fine. But they started showing up in kind of grocery stores. And by the 90s, basically, they were common enough that people were referencing the brand casually. And that's kind of what I noticed. So the earliest references to Soy Boy that you can find in like Google groups and stuff is just people talking about the brand and talking about
their tofu ravioli.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to get on the internet in the 90s and talk about your freaking vegan burgers and not dogs.
I mean, where else will you talk about them, I guess,
Exactly.
Then, okay, now here's the thing. You could argue with a lot of those Google Groups messages that there were some uses of it as an insult, but they were mainly like directed towards vegans and just because it was kind of a funny sounding name and a product. And kind of the distinction of that is where we kind of go into questions of who is the first known instance. So even with all of those Google Groups, there's still one that predates all of it. And strangely enough, from fucking Kurt Cobain. I don't know if you've ever like gone through kind of what was released posthumously, but after he died, people kind of just started releasing all of his personal belongings, like his diaries, his like, home recordings, all these like old, just a lot of invasions of privacy that,
God, I hope nobody ever releases my diary after I die. I'll have to make sure to burn everything down in a house fire.
Well, think on the bright side, okay? One day it could be in a NETLORE episode.
That's the dream. Someone talking about your diary after you're dead on a fucking podcast, like...
About Soy Boys, by the way.
Exactly. This is what he would have wanted, by the way, so just chill.
So in 2002, they released his diaries as just the journals. I think it's called just journals. And the book contains an assortment of notes, old drafts, and a bunch of undated drawings. And one of those was a series of comics called Crybaby Jenkins. And Crybaby Jenkins is kind of like, there were a lot of these different kind of characters Cobain would talk about. Even his suicide note references one of his imaginary friends like that. And there's a lot of like different speculation of how they even appeared in his music and shit. But with Crybaby Jenkins, there's actually another story that he wrote that he read out on a different CD that got released. I shouldn't get into the minutia of it, but basically Crybaby Jenkins is an established character in a lot of these,
classic one of his OCs.
Yeah, even though it was not a public OC, I guess, when he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of takes us to where it becomes difficult to kind of gauge what this even means as one of the first usages. But okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, the final comic found in his diary was a Crybaby Jenkins comic, and it would actually be the first earliest known usage of Soy Boy as an insult. And you can see it right here. Shake it off, Soy Boy, at Benihana's, which is a parody of a restaurant chain.
Right. No, that's a good bit. That's a good bit. I gotta say, he could have been a cartoonist in another life.
Well, what's kind of weird is I don't really know the context of why he's using it.
I mean, it makes sense, like, in the sense, like, even before anyone is looking at it from, like, the fucking phytoestrogen angle, it's just, like, soy is associated with, like, vegans, and therefore it's like, yeah, Soy Boy. I can see where that could come from, you know?
I think what the joke is that, so they're at this, like, fucked up version of Benihana's. They're cutting up, like, human body parts, and I guess Crybaby Jenkins doesn't want to eat it, so he's, like, complaining about the food, and so riffing on like people who don't eat meat that's what it's in reference to. So maybe this is a post-ironic usage where it's actually him using it to make fun of people who use Soy Boy as an insult. But who really knows, right? Who the fuck knows? While the drawing is undated, given it was before Kurt passed in 1994, it remains the earliest known recorded instance of someone using Soy Boy as a pejorative. What is your take on this? Do you think this counts because...
yeah, I think we can blame everything that happened on Kurt Cobain, even though it was in one of his private fucking diaries. No, it's all his fault.
Private diaries that no one even saw until like after he died, which is kind of...
No, it's his fault. And this is proof he was secretly right-wing.
In 1998, we had the next notable instance of the first potential soy boy, like noun, proper noun, right? So, in 1998, at the 40th Annual Grammy Awards, Bob Dylan and his band performed Lovesick surrounded by a crowd of extras dressed in black. In the middle of the song, one of the extras ripped off his shirt and began dancing on stage. They ignored him and continued playing without interruption. After about 30 seconds, the man was removed by security. Now, the reason why this guy became known as the Soy Bomb will become very self-apparent.
To the shadow. I'm sick of love.
You gotta realize, while this is happening, nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew if this was part of the plan except... right. I guess the band.
That's funny. That leads to the hesitation to jump in because everyone's like, wait, is this supposed to be fucking happening? So there's got to be like a political thing, right?
I actually
don't know the motivation, or was he just being epic? What the
I don't
fuck?
know. I think he was just he was vegetarian, but I don't think that was like a huge part of it.
Oh, he's a performance artist. Now it all makes sense. Thought he was just a regular Joe being epic.
Apparently this guy has like some other kind of pieces. I don't know how much of like an artist he actually is, so I have no idea what the fuck. But anyways, this is the most notable thing he's done. As far as I'm aware, and the Soy Boy incident became infamous, with many referring to the disruptor as the Soy Boy. Initially, you can kind of see it's a little hard to tell what the letters say, so some people just misread it as Soy Boy, but a ton of articles and, journalists and people who were there just started calling him that. So the man was identified as performance artist Michael Portnoy. When the disruption was edited out of a video release in 2006, people still referred to him as the Soy Boy. So the nickname stuck for a while too.
Well, I would say if you don't want to be known as a Soy Boy, maybe don't write Soy Bomb on your chest and then go crash a live performance.
Well, he wanted to be known. Maybe that's why we should deny him the title of first Soy Boy. But regardless, this is kind of to show
the different times this word has popped up in the public consciousness before it really took off or whatever.
It's kind of weird, I guess, that all of this gets, I guess, forgotten in terms of like, because it's such a simple phrase, we forget that it's definitely not just a recent thing. It's been wobbling in and out of culture for a while. And I don't know, I feel like even with Kurt Cobain's diary, like even if you can't say, oh, he caused people to use this, you can say like that's pretty reflective of what people were saying at the time. You know, how else would you be able to capture that?
Right, no, that's what I meant. Like, I could see that just sort of becoming an insult of the, you know, of a similar era, you know, like just to cover the same kind of people, even if it wasn't for the exact same reasons or whatever, just because, you know, it's not that, like I said, it's not that hard to come up with.
From 1992 to 2008, soy food sales in the US grew from 300 million to 4 billion. This coincided with soy boy becoming a common insult in reference to the potential side effects of phytoestrogen. The term soon disparaged alternative lifestyles in general and left-wing politics in general. So this is where we actually start to see it becoming more of a political insult. Basically, you could see here, like, this person is so shocked at being called a soy boy that they just repeat it like soy boy. And then speaking of boobs, how big are yours, soy boy? Vegetarians, mentally and physically weaker. Take this, soy boy.
There was definitely a big, like, vegetarians and vegans are cringe era online during the early 2000s for sure.
This excerpt right here is from a woman complaining about, I guess, a local radio host who only complained about soy from callers when it was from men. So when a guy says he's using soy, the host goes off about being a soy boy, and in my never to be humble opinion, can be downright rude at times. So here's the question for all of you ladies, because I can't find an answer. What effect might soy have on the male body? And then this here is like, there's any number of quick liberal jokes you could have tossed at me, but no, you could have called me a soy boy or maybe socialist. And these are both from, the first was from 2000 and the second was from 2002. So you can kind of see.
Oh, this discourse has been going on for over 2 decades now.
You can kind of see how slowly things are evolving and kind of starting to reach the point where it would end up in a Katy Perry music video. In 2004, PETA held an online competition for the sexiest vegetarian alive. So, you know, it starts to become an insult and the vegans want to take it back.
Right. Oh, they're trying to reclaim soy boy. Fascinating.
The winner, Zachary Hawker, was used in attempts to reclaim the pejorative and counter negative stereotypes. They were unsuccessful, but you could see he became PETA's hottest soy boy.
You know, this is PETA's fault. If they just tried harder, they could have fixed soy boy.
The sexy soy boy, originally from San Jose, California, studies anthropology at Yale University.
Oh, because they're trying to fight back against the term beefcake as like a term for a hunk. That's so fucking stupid.
Wait, is that real?
Well, I mean, the title of that article makes me think that's the parallel being drawn.
Oh my god! Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's fucking.
Thank you, PETA.
Are those contrary to each other? I guess I never thought about it.
PETA really doesn't like any animal product language. They have like a whole chart about it. I think people know about that whole thing. I'm not surprised by this development. This sort of makes sense.
I guess that makes more sense. I kind of thought it was more of just people were using it as an insult more, but no, they want words with positive vegan connotations. And then that all leads to 2008. The conversation around how masculinity was affected by soy was, you know, reaching a boiling point, which is when Katy Perry had to weigh in with "You're So Gay."
And this changed the discourse forever.
This changed everything. And you could see that it's not really a one-off occurrence. Like, when I was watching this video, I kept seeing more and more soy. I thought it was going crazy. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking stupid. Haha, like, it's soy, but that's like, I'm putting more value into it because of like...
No, I believe it had already established its cultural connotation at this point.
So when did it become popular online? If you look at this graph, you can see that right before the first peak where it really shoots up in popularity is October of 2017. And that is actually, you know, as Know Your Meme did accurately kind of describe where it started being used in 4chan. While soy was already used pejoratively, it was usually secondary to other stereotypes like, you know, soy lattes. The earliest known use of soy boy on 4chan was posted on April 18th. The phrase was added to the Urban Dictionary on June 22nd, and by October was widespread on mainstream social media. So you could see even boomers were starting to make the soy boy memes, which...
Oh no, I totally believe that. It's so compact of a soundbite that it has a cross-generational appeal. That would definitely appeal to the Facebook boomers and the 4chaners alike.
Do you think they remember the original soy boy product? Like,
They probably do. They probably have fond memories of being in a grocery store in the 1980s and not buying a soy boy ravioli.
and then you could see some more examples of kind of how quickly it was blowing up. Like Rebel News was doing pieces about it. Paul Joseph Watson released The Truth About Soy Boys, which got 2.6 million views. We had this article by Will Sommer about how soy boy became the far-right's favorite new insult. And then this thread here, Operation Soy Boys, which was on 4chan, which was just about trying to create as many memes that emasculate the left as possible. And it's just about, once again, trying to really popularize and play on the prominence of this insult.
Well, it does coincide right with that fucking spike on the Google Trends.
And you could even see on November 3rd, 2017, right when it peaks is when Know Your Meme added their article on it.
That's the real barometer here.
But there's another peak right after in January 2018. And what is that peak? I mean, okay, look, you can see it on screen, but that's where the soy boy face was kind of, because there was a point where soy boy wasn't associated with the soy boy face.
It's a sort of a separate enough entity, yes.
Now I feel like if you think of soy boy, you always think of the face, right? Maybe I'm wrong.
Just like
but
everything online, everything always has to mutate and change. So yes, I can understand how it sort of ended up absorbing that and sort of merging with that in the soy jack.
I don't know. This is kind of Know Your Memes theory, okay? I don't really know how direct it is, but in 2015, people started using like a face of faux surprise in their selfies over duck faces. And I guess that continued until 2017, and where it became so popular and like, I guess, like safe enough for a selfie thing that people started like associating it with men they described as new males, right?
That actually makes more sense that it would come from like a selfie trend, because I always perceived it through the lens of like YouTube thumbnails or whatever. Somehow it maximizes engagement or whatever to see a face like that, to be like, oh, I see a human face. I have a human face. I like to be surprised. I don't know. Human brains are so stupid. It's awesome, man.
Do you think those are the same trend, like the faux surprise selfies and the YouTube thumbnails? Like which was first?
I'm not 100% sure on the exact, like, which predates the other, but it definitely is, like, playing on the same phenomenon, at least, is all I was sort of getting at. But it's not the same thing, obviously, I guess, but I can see how one could lead into the other.
The psychology is the same, right?
Right. But then you just do it for so long, and people got tired of that face or whatever, and then it no longer became the meta. I mean, sometimes something can just be the meta for so long that people get tired of it just by sheer exposure.
It wasn't long until Wojaks were drawn with the face, which quickly became a subgenre of their own called soy jacks. Today, soy boy is associated with consumerism, with soy itself having that connotation. It's now largely a boilerplate insult removed from its origin, which is weird to think about. I mean, I feel like we all saw this happen and we just didn't think about it.
I mean, again, internet etymology is so weird. It was literally the one word filter from Wapanese to weeaboo, which then got shortened to weeb, and still people still say that 18 quadrillion fucking times a day on Twitter, 4chan, wherever, and it's just like, just the most stupid shit can become a word. And that's awesome. I love words.
But like, I mean, just think about it. Like, soy boy now is not like, you don't think like, oh, this person's probably like vegan, really.
It has a slightly different, it doesn't conjure up the vegan lifestyle. It's more of the whole, new male, soylent, blah, blah, blah.
It's like, you will eat the bugs, you will drink soylent, you will eat slop. It's like, you're obedient.
It's a lot easier to infuse something with political connotation than it is to, like, remove it. It's like radioactive. We're gonna have to let Pepe sit in a toxic waste dump for 100 years.
And that's pretty much where the presentation ends. That is the etymology of soy boys. I'm sorry. That's the episode.
Well, you forgot the most important step, which is that, thankfully, H-Bomber Guy made that video, and now nobody says soy boy anymore, and you never, ever, ever hear it online. And if you hear someone saying the word soy boy, you're allowed to beat them up with hammers. They're actually consenting to it.
If you use that term in the comments, you're a fucking chud, by the way. How dare you?
We don't have to say that. We're just going to have to manually remove every single comment or word filter.
We will manually remove anyone who says that term or calls us soy boys. We will be blocking it.
Don't try and own us in the comments. If you ever try to own us in our comment section, we're gonna fucking I was gonna say dox you and find your family, but we're not gonna actually do that.
We're not gonna do that.
Although you should know, every time you watch the video, we can track your IP address. Don't think YouTube doesn't give us the tools to do that.
That's true. And they're rolling out a new feature to look up IPs automatically.
And if you dare listen to our podcast without anything but utter reverence for the two idiots talking about fucking stupid ass internet bullshit, then you'll get what you deserve. That's all I have to say about that.
And by the way, you're all soy boys. There, I said it.
Exactly. That's what I meant. That's dedicated to you, the fans.
This episode is for the fans.
I knew you'd love this one. I knew you'd be so happy to see NETLORE pop up as your fucking subscription feed with the fucking title Soy Boys. You know someone was so hype about fucking Ken Penders and the biggest soy boy head is gonna wake up and be like, yes, etymology.
I should say that, okay, to be real, okay, obviously we're not working on this episode for that long. It's just a rabbit hole I kind of fell down. Don't worry, guys, we have other episodes on the way. It's actually interesting you brought up parallel thought, because I was trying to think of that word for the next episode, which it actually is relevant. But beyond that, when I first kind of went down this rabbit hole, because I was so shocked that this Katy Perry video had Soy Boy in it, I tweeted it out. And that was where people kind of pointed out the Kurt Cobain journal and everything. And I don't know, just for the record, Know Your Meme has updated, okay, their article to not be outdated. That is not a thing. This presentation was made shortly after the tweet.
That's how you know you made it in life. I'm definitely cited on Know Your Meme a couple of times, and that's got to be the peak of my career. I mean, Know Your Meme. That's how they know your fucking meme.
I like Know Your Meme a lot.
No, I mean, I'm shitting around, but hey, literally, as far as the internet decays, it's one of the only sites that actually literally is about, like, internet history or whatnot. I can only joke about it so much.
Did you remember when Know Your Meme first showed up and like 4chan was trying to shut it down?
Oh yeah, people were, well, yeah, because there was this whole thing. I mean, this was on YouTube too. People are having this drama about they're making the memes for normies and they're, you know, it's making them less special. And it's like, they don't understand the internet. No matter what you do, it's just that, you know, that classic image, it's the human centipede pipeline of just content will get taken from one site, reposted to the next. It's been like that. It's like a constant wheel. Back in the day, the pictures would get taken and fucking slapped with a watermark and thrown on E-Bombs World, and people would still fucking cry about it then. There's fucking all these YTMNDs about it. There's nothing you can do. You just have to accept this is life, and it'll never be better, and there's nothing you can do. And that's our uplifting message for today. That was such a huge drama back in the day. Like, oh my god, can you believe the content theft? And now it's like every fucking half other Twitter account you see is a fucking blue checkmark content thief, rehash churning fucking channel making 0.0001 cent per fucking impression.
I will say, okay, if I had one complaint about what memes are now, it's that people care too much about credit at all. I feel like it defeats like the point and like the fun of a meme, which is that it's just a joke that you just post and then people find it funny enough and they just share it. It's like, I don't know, it's like, is it really that important to like watermark some stupid like edit you made and be like, I made this, I made you laugh? It's like, I don't know.
Some people take a little bit too much pleasure in just a very simple modification. Like, this is my own personal meme with my own personal copyright. I mean, it's different if you're like an actual cartoonist making a full-on like piece of art or comic, that's one thing. But just like, you know, even then, back in the day, people would just make shitty MS Paint crap and be like, whatever, who cares if it, you know. Well, I mean, I don't know. The internet just used to be a different place. You can't necessarily say everything should always be exactly like that forever. But
it'd be interesting to look at, I guess, that for an episode too. Just think about, do you think it was social media that changed it?
People used to have like a conception of memes, like, you know, it would be like you say meme, it would conjure this stupid fucking demotivational poster or something, or an advice animal, I can't have cheeseburger. The word meme is a fucking meme. It's that fucking stupid thing from Richard Dawkins, right? It's like information version of genetics, like memetics. It's like
it is pre-internet, yeah. It is just a concept.
It's just the way things spread over time. I mean, you know, there's a practical definition for meme that everyone understands.
Yeah, I mean, memes went to fucking shit after Kilroy.
Yeah, the original memes back in the Bronze era, those were pretty cool. Everything after that was just like a rehash.
Can I Has Cheeseburger is like a whole, that's like a throwback. That's, I remember.
Well, I mean, I was just talking to you about this shit. It's like things that could go viral. Like if no one ever knew about zeroing and someone dusted off an old thing and was like, check this out, all your base are belong to us. Ha ha. Isn't that funny? It's like nobody would give a fuck. It's like it's just another funny bad translation to throw on the pile of I've seen 100 billion of them already. Things that could go viral back in the day are just, they're of a different breed. I guess the current meta is the short form video. You want to have like a TikTok go viral type situation. I mean, obviously there's still fucking picture memes and stuff. I'm not an idiot, but like, I don't know. I haven't even dared to poke my head on Facebook to see what kind of nightmare AI slop is like going around there. So I'm sure that's a whole separate ecosystem going on.
Oh God, boomer memes. Boomer memes are kind of awesome though. My favorite one is like the Joe Biden one where he has the two like puzzle pieces and it's like a smiley face.
Those memes will at least put you in touch with a real, like, greater consciousness. There's a reason that Minions make so much money, and you see all these fucking Minion boomer memes, you know what I mean? It just appeals to something in the id of the greater general population.
Yeah, we don't get it. That's the thing. That's why we're not the creators of Soy Boys.
like, we're just not part of a monoculture anymore. Everyone understands this to some degree now.
Yeah.
Memes would last longer. That's what everyone says. Like, all your base or belong to us would, like, go viral because of a bunch of stupid photoshops from fucking something awful or whatever, and that would get passed around the internet in a flash animation. Everyone on the internet would know about it. Obviously, that's like an exaggeration. Not everyone on the internet knew about it. It's a stupid meme, but just people would be like, oh, yeah, the oh really owl. I'm going to post that for the next 4 years sporadically. And now it's just like something is a flash in the pan. It pops up. Everyone looks at it and it's done. Well, and that's why people say the fucking stupid Twitter main character of the day. I mean, the key operative phrase here is like of the day. People forget about you the next fucking day, no matter how much of a catastrophic fuck up or whatever you are.
Yeah, no, I think back in the day, a Twitter person of the day would probably last a few years at least, right? Like,
the internet was just literally smaller. There were way less fucking people on the internet before 2007 and smartphones.
there's like inflation for like subscribers. Like someone who had like 100K
Right.
back in the day meant a lot more than 100K now.
No, that's so true. I mean, I remember on YouTube over 10 years ago thinking 10K subs was a big account, not throwing shade at anyone. That is actually a great amount of people to have listening to you. But I remember seeing that and being like, holy shit. I would just, if I had 10K subscribers on YouTube, I would be set for life. Like, that's how stupid I fucking was.
No, you're 100% right, though. I mean, think about, like, what was famous? Dramatic chipmunk, Star Wars kid? Like, just some, like, Numa.
Well, it's like every day. I mean, everyone knows this too. I feel like I'm saying things everybody knows, but it's like every day you hear like, oh, did you hear Flumbus Grumbus was arrested on grooming charges? He's like 48 million subscribers. Every day there's people you never even heard of that are like a quadrillion times more famous than people that you follow. It's like, what is even going on anymore? And again, it used to make sense because there used to be just TV, and then on the TV, there were the celebrities, the golden calves we had to worship or whatever. But now there's e-celebrities. Now anyone can just be a celebrity.
There's like Jimmy Kimmel, like, ranting. He's like, God damn it. Like, who am I going to interview now?
They took away celebrities. That was my one thing that I had, was laughing at the celebrities. We gotta pivot NETLORE to be an interview talk show. We gotta be the shitty internet Jimmy Kimmel. I know I can flex some creds to get some old SA buddies on here. We can just be like, so tell me about what projects you got coming up.
Who would your lineup be? Your first, like, lineup of guests?
Our first lineup. I don't know. I don't want to name them because if I say it on here and then they don't want to do it, I don't want to be making any false promises. But we'll see. We'll see. If people are interested in the idea, we can do something like that. We gotta experiment with the structure.
That's true.
We basically have just been riffing for the past 15 minutes about internet bullshit. At least by taking a long hiatus, now it's like at least one of the fucking things I ranted about. I have definitely said that shit all completely word for word in one of the other episodes where it's like, well, they're not gonna remember that. Unless you're watching these all sequentially in the future, in which case, fuck you. How dare you remember the things that I said? You have to wipe your mind clean between episodes. Only keep the positive emotional connotations or whatever. Forget every substantive thing we said. That's how you're supposed to consume YouTube content. You're not supposed to like watch a YouTube video like, oh, I learned something
You're
today.
not supposed to learn.
I watched like an 8-hour-long video about every Bomberman game. I was talking to someone about that and I was like, I don't remember like anything from that video, man. If you're trying to watch YouTube videos to learn, shut up, go to school, you fucking nerd. That's not what it's for.
That's true. Honestly, ask yourself, did you learn anything from this episode? Like, no.
If you did, I'm going to find you and personally erase that information from your brain. I'm going to brainwash you. Not in a cult sense, but just in like, I'm literally just trying to clean your brain up.
We should just play off, like, look, whenever we just say the same things over and over. See, we're not looping. We actually have continuity, you know?
That's actually great, but I would love to just yammer on for so long that you can just start like stitching it together, like different loops, like you're in like fucking, I don't know, one of those music producing programs. Like, oh yeah, I'll just throw that. Yep. That's a great sound clip. Throw that up there. That's the dream, man. We got to just get AI to make NETLORE for us 100%. The audience won't know a difference. They don't care. This whole episode has been made by AI. This is the point where we're actually revealing it to you. This is AI voice, scripted by AI. Neither of us have even listened to this one.
We'll have a 24/7 NETLORE AI live stream, okay? Where it's like just both of our voices deepfaked on an AI script. It's just like...
That's coming though. I mean, we shouldn't say things like that because they don't need us to do that. They're just going to feed the fucking YouTube, Google transcripts. I mean, this is the thing. If you're actually a normal person out there and you haven't like spoken online a lot, you should probably not do that if you don't want anyone to fucking clone your voice. Your voice has to be a private commodity. Now it's too late for me. There's already too many recordings of me out there. It's not like there's anything I can do about it.
There's no hope for me.
We just have to accept it, Bernie.
There's no hope for us.
But if you're not a stupid fake e-celeb, there's hope for you. You don't have to put your whole ass online.
I know we've insulted you a lot. We've called you Soy Boys. We've said that you're chud and don't call us Soy Boys, but heed our warning, okay? Don't put your voice on the internet. Someone might deepfake you.
That's the one message we have to give you. You know, it's always like, I'm always trying to give people a message like, download videos if you want to see them again. This one is, don't put your voice on the internet. Or just accept the fact that people are going to be able to make AI voices.
If there's any episode of NETLORE to preserve, it is this one. Only download this one.
Yeah, but you can cut out the first 30 minutes. That's optional.
Ignore the Soy Boy part.
Just host this on Internet Archive with just the back half of one episode of fucking NETLORE. Seriously though, If anything happens to Internet Archive, I'm calling it. That is the end of the internet.
Did you see they took off?
Yeah, 500,000 books or whatever, which is like horrible. I'm glad that happened, but I mean, as long as the main thing, the Wayback Machine and the rest is huge, just an ungodly amount of media, movies, shows, ROMs. You'd be surprised at the amount of shit you can find on Internet Archive. You just give it a look sometime.
I haven't researched anything in this realm like recently, but I know that next time I'm going to research, I'm not going to be able to find books or site references as easily because of this decision. And I don't know.
I actually was using the fucking Internet Archive thing, and there's like, it literally has a thing where it's like, yeah, you have to like rent the book, you have to check it out every hour and you're reading. It's like you have to remember to check out the book, and it's only so many people can have it at a time. So it's like they literally had already solved this stupid problem. Oh no, you can't have a digital library because of the way information works. Like, oh, it'd be so horrible if people were reading things for free. I will be joining a paramilitary when the Internet Archive goes down. I'm just warning everyone now.
You showed me the other day, like, it was really fucked up that the Internet Archive is in a building that looks like the logo.
It does. It literally does. It's so funny. Yeah, I just randomly saw a tweet. The Internet Archive is actually in a building with like a bunch of those big columns, just like the logo. It's like, wow. I'm sounding like such a fucking psychotic terrorist this episode, but like the idea that the Internet Archive is in one building is actually kind of scary to me. Like, I don't like the idea that anyone could do something to the Internet Archive.
If like there was an orbital strike, like the Internet Archive would just be gone.
That's supposed to be the good thing about websites is like, yes, like the internet, you know, this isn't the ending of Deus Ex. You can't just like take down the internet by taking down a couple of servers, but the Internet Archive shouldn't just be like protected. It should be getting like $1 billion a day from the government.
This should be like in space.
Exactly, dude. Yes, exactly. There's so much garbage in space, just fucking SpaceX satellite bullshit. We need like a giant vault in space. Well, I guess if it's in space, then only the billionaires would be able to launch rockets at it. I'm not sure if that's necessarily better. I don't know. We're brainstorming, guys. This is on the fly. If you have a better solution for protecting the Internet Archive besides launching it into space, feel free to leave it in the comments.
By the way, if they use any of these, you know you've heard it here first, okay? I have no idea how to end this episode, dude.
Dude, this episode literally should have ended like 20 minutes ago.
I hope it didn't come off like I brought up the Know Your Meme stuff to be like, fuck those guys, they updated it after. It was more like, because I brought up in the beginning the page was not updated. It is updated, yeah.
They didn't have to like say, thank you, Bernie, but I don't even think they linked your tweet.
They don't have to. I do not deserve credit for that.
But this is the important research they should be doing. They should have already made the podcast episode on the etymology of Soy Boy. They should have been checking out Kurt Cobain's fucking journal and Katy Perry. They were being negligent.
Look, we have to sing their praises, okay? We could bring a Know Your Meme person on. I don't know which one, but we could.
KnowYourMeme.com. It's time for you to hire us so we can not do a job well over there and get paid for it instead of not doing a podcast well and not getting paid for it.
We could just ask them, yeah, let's do the Know Your Meme podcast, and then...
God, if this was like 2011, I could be like, guys, we can get Know Your Meme on Adult Swim. We can get this animated. We're going to take this to the top.
When I was listing off celebrities, I was thinking about all the people who showed up in that South Park episode about memes. Like,
oh God, yeah. We should do a whole episode on like tracking down the histories of them all. I mean, everyone loves fucking Tay Zonday now. I will say that video of him playing fucking TF2 is literally one of my favorite videos of all time. It's like the funniest thing, and I can't even explain why.
And we are live.
Yeah, like you said, there's some ones that haven't quite. I mean, like there's the iconic like Star Wars guy. I remember fucking being like, "Oh, that's so funny" in high school, and then there was like all that crazy drama where it was like that video was posted against his permission. I don't need to go into this. This is a well documented internet thing, but like,
but that guy would definitely not like be that significant today. At all.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's a great example of like, come on. That's just the way it works, man. That's just the way culture works. It's all like sedimentary. It's all layered on top of each other. And I mean, you know, the shitty memes of yesterday walked so the horribler memes of today can run. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you whenever the next episode goes up, which will be a lot quicker than it took for this episode to get up. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
And we are live here tonight on Tays on Day Games, January 30th, 2015. And we're going to try playing a little bit of multiplayer, playing some TF2. What are we doing now? Why don't we show some servers? Since we're going to do, actually, I'm just going to go to the server browser here. 30th, 2015. See if I can get in some of my, and we're going to try playing. Hold on, I have not muted my audio. Playing some TF2. A little bit of audio doing down here. Why don't we hold on? I got to mute that so I don't hear the stream. There we go. That is much better. Server browser 30th, 2015. Let's see if I can get in my chat here. Hold on, I have not muted my audio. There we go.